Open Line.
Walk the talk with Clement Manyathela
on 702.
11 minutes before 10 o'clock, we're live to you this morning from the B20 Summit with Nedbank, proud sponsors of the B20 Summit. This is happening for the first time ever on the African soil. It's quite a big deal for the country. The 2025 South African G20 presidency has operated under the theme Solidarity, Equality and Sustainability. To find out more today, we are in conversation with Mfundo Nkuhlu, who's the Nedbank Chief Operating Officer on 702. Mr. Nkuhlu, thank you so much for making time for us. Good morning.
Thanks indeed. Good morning. You're most welcome.
One of the themes of South Africa's G20 presidency has been sustainability. How has the G20 platform kept sustainability on the agenda?
Sustainability, in the first instance, is about making sure that we meet the needs of the present generation without compromising the ability of future generations to meet theirs. And so we've got to live in a way within planetary limits and make sure that we leave behind a world that can serve future generations. That's the real reason and essence of sustainability. It does mean that from point of view of energy use, consumption patterns, we've got to deal with these in a way that's sustainable. We've got to respond to climate change and build societal resilience. And so this G20 has provided a platform to have conversations on these matters. The very nature of these crises is that they go beyond just one nation. They require multilateral cooperation of nations in order to achieve these collective goals. And so this has provided us another avenue to continue the engagement on this front and also to bring African voice into the equation. Because all too often, Africa is at the receiving end of these policies and processes of accumulation. And whilst we may contribute the least, we certainly at the receiving end of most negative and adverse impacts of these developments.
Yeah, and of course we have this opportunity where these global leaders, the global business community has gathered. They've been part of these task force meetings. What cooperation are you hoping this gathering garners in order to create sustainable jobs on the continent?
There are a number of elements to it, Clement. First of all, as we move towards green energy sources, there is a transition, an energy transition that is underway. It does need to be financed and funded sustainably. It does mean that particularly poorer countries have an opportunity and space to adjust to the changes coming ahead of us all. These affect production processes. These affect consumption patterns. They are fundamental to growth and development strategies of nations. And so it is important also that in the process we continue to address enduring priorities of industrial development and industrialization, employment creation. If you think of Africa, Africa is a very youthful continent. And so there's got to be employment opportunities created for meaningful engagement of the youth in the period ahead of us. Without addressing that, we cannot enjoy lasting stability and peace, and therefore cannot make meaningful contribution to humanity as would be required of us. And so these are not peripheral issues. They go to the heart of our purpose, of our existence, and these conversations that have been taking place among business communities across the world have been about forging partnerships in order to help achieve these goals. Africa does present opportunities for growth, and in the period ahead, it is expected to be a major contributor to global growth, but that will come by addressing these fundamental challenges I've alluded to.
Yeah. And of course, another theme has been solidarity at a time when global cooperation is facing immense strain. We also in an environment where many countries are also facing their own challenges, from poverty to conflict. What does international solidarity mean in this context, especially also in the context of the geopolitical repositioning we're seeing?
Yes, we are living in a fractious and fragmented world, characterized by polycrisis. If it's not geopolitical tensions, war and conflict, it's poverty, sometimes it's natural disasters. And so we see across the world a number of crises that humanity has to contend with. Solidarity tells us that the future of the world is human-centered. It's really focused on people, and that challenges facing one nation are generally also faced by other nations. And in solving these, we've got to go beyond the nation state. And so that is where multilateral cooperation comes in. The very nature of these challenges we're talking about do not respect physical boundaries of nations. On the positive side, opportunities for growth, if you think of network industries, a connected society, the role of digital transformation, new technologies such as artificial intelligence. These are the ways now in which society is going to be organized, is being organized, new opportunities requiring new skill sets. So how we think about that future, how we prepare for it, how we teach the youth, and curriculum changes, and all of these are geared to address this. We've got to be able to address these challenges in our immediate society, and South Africa, that's our immediate domestic challenge. But recognize that countries around us and elsewhere in the world face similar challenges, so there are opportunities to learn and collaborate with one another, and this is what solidarity means in this context.
Yeah, and of course, we're seeing banks like Nedbank setting their sights on technology investments. There's a strong growth in digital channels. What digital investments do you think we can leverage during the South African presidency? What opportunities exist for us?
Well, we're in dialogue with government about hastening that digital transformation agenda, and that is on the back of investments we've made over a decade in refresh of our own technology infrastructure. This should help us to address objectives of financial inclusion, bringing majority of our people into the mainstream of financial services. And so we see continuity between our own immediate agenda as a company and also the national needs in this regard. Similarly, we find common cause with government on issues of sustainability and ensuring that we promote the green economy and make sure that we have a low carbon intensity economy as we go into the future. That will require restructuring of the economy, and as a bank, our responsibility is to mobilize capital for investment into projects of this kind, and we will be seeking to partner with our government and other players in the financial sector, given the scale of the opportunity, the size of the challenge. We think there's scope and room for everyone here.
Thank you so much for making time for us. Mfundo Nkuhlu is the Nedbank Chief Operating Officer. Nedbank in conversation with us live from the B20 Summit here on 702. It's a minute before 11.